to keep watching. So you don't have to try as hard in the hypothetically back half of a video as you do in the front. Like even right now, we're so deep into this where a lot of people listening are probably just going to keep listening relatively close to the end unless we just have a really boring part of this conversation, because they're just in it. They're immersed. And so a big, like, to really boil it down to a simple level, you just want to get people where they're immersed in the content and then just kind of hold them there.
The thing is, it's all knowledge. It really is. And like every time I say this, people debate it to the end of time on Twitter, but I don't care. Like I could start a new channel tomorrow with not using my face or my voice, like without ever promoting it, and in 6 months have 20 million subscribers. I just could. Yeah. It's purely knowledge. Like if you knew what I knew, you could get 10 million views a video, and you could get 10 million subscribers no matter where you are right now within 6 months. It really is just knowledge. And I can already tell you 90% of the people watching, they don't agree with that. They don't. And everyone has excuses, and they're always like, nah, YouTube just doesn't work like that, Jimmy. You don't understand. But I mentor a lot of people. I see it even to this day. I still see it all the time. It is possible. It is simply knowledge. And the second you accept that it is knowledge and you start your, for me, 10,000 day journey of learning, for you, whatever it is, if you want to be less hardcore, and like actually figuring out, you know, what makes a good video, what does my audience want, how can I elevate? And then you take that knowledge and you just assume that I will never understand what the perfect video is. And every single day I just need to be devoted to learning as much as possible and improving as much as possible. And I got to improve every video as much as I can. Then there you go. There are tons of viral ideas that people can do that don't require money. It does not require money to go viral. Like at one point, one of my most viewed videos was like spending 24 hours in a desert. We just grabbed a tent and some stuff and we went in the desert. And it got like 60, 70 million views. I have so many videos where we spent hardly any money, like the no food one, or I'd have to pull up the channel and go through it, that have gotten tens of millions of views, and they would have gotten 10 plus million views even on a small channel. So people who say, oh, well, I could be MrBeast if I had money. Well, A, I didn't start off with money. I was poor, I had no money, and it took me like 7 years just to buy a camera, saving up from YouTube. And B, some of our most viewed videos, literally, like anyone can do. The best way to get views, in my opinion, I think it's better to really, really focus on quality if you're a very small YouTuber. And you can upload a video a day and like all the videos be average. And like none of those videos will really stand out. None of it's like epic enough where like the algorithm's gonna go, oh, this video is good. Like we need to spread it. I feel like a lot of small YouTubers, they just post like videos that aren't bad, but they're not great. And they just do that. And none of them ever pop off, so they never get an audience, where it might be better to like, you know, upload half or a third or even like a fifth of the videos, but make the videos you upload so freaking good that like the algorithm has to promote it, and that, you know, it has to find audiences for it, because it's such an interesting and good video. When you like set a consistent schedule and you're constantly having to upload videos that aren't as good as you'd like because you got to hit, oh, this Monday, I said I'd upload every Monday, you know, like that's a dangerous trap, because then, you know, the viewers notice that the quality isn't as good and it makes them less likely to watch, and I think it hurts your longevity. A lot of times people, oh boy, it's like they think their videos are better than they are, honestly. And
tell them, Jimmy, tell them.
I mean, they do. And you have to that, and they have horrible friend groups, because you really are like the type of YouTubers you hang around. And so like a lot of times I'm just like, what you're saying is wrong. Who told you this? They're like, oh, this guy. And it's like, well, they're wrong. It's not true. There's no such thing as a perfect video. Like someone should always call you and it on your video, because it could be better. Like that's, because imagine if someone does that every video and you upload hundreds, if not 1,000 videos over the next 10 years, and every single time someone's critiquing you and you're applying what they're critiquing. Like imagine the compound effect over that time span. It's invaluable. People think it's like, oh, well, it's all like CTR and stuff like that. But a big thing that everyone underestimates is it's, what was your experience with your last video? If people loved the last video of yours that they watched, they're more likely to watch your next one. For the YouTubers watching this, when people watch your video, they go, okay, that was good, but like that's enough of you for the day. Like it was all right, right? Whereas what you want is them to go, holy crap, that was crazy. Oh my God, what's that? Holy crap, that was crazy. Oh my God. And they watched 10 videos. That's what you're going for, that data can't describe. And like, I've never heard anyone talk about that, but that is it. That's how you get these high view counts because people watch 10 videos, not one, you know? It's okay to draw inspiration from me, but just don't do what I do to a T. It's not like $1 versus blank. I'm the first person to do it. But I just, you know, saw that format and I was just like, how can I do that 100 times better?
Right.
How can I put 100 times more creativity into it? How can I level up the editing by 100 times? How can I spend 100, blah, blah, blah. And that's always my mindset. How can I, like, if I get inspired by something, how can I do that but 100 times better and make it my own? Whereas a lot of people are just like, oh, MrBeast did that. I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, how do I make a good thumbnail? How do I get people to click my video?
You want it to be simple. You want them to be able to, like, when they're scrolling through their suggested or homepage or whatever touch point, you want them to instantly be able to understand what you're conveying. And you want them to feel some type of emotion, you know what I mean? The way I like to phrase it is you want to make it so interesting or spike their curiosity or whatever emotion so much that, like, if they don't click it, they'll wonder, you know, when before they go to bed, like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like an example would be like, if you uploaded a video, I rode a skateboard with 1,000 other people on it, and like people are falling off the side or whatever. And I'm envisioning like a giant skateboard, people like hanging on the side of it. Maybe it's like about to go off a big ramp. If you don't click that, you're gonna like be so curious. It's gonna be on your mind, you know? Later in the day when you're daydreaming, you're gonna think like, huh, what happened? What happened to those 1,000 people on that skateboard? That's kind of the mindset I think you should have when making thumbnails.
How often do you change a thumbnail on a video? Is that something, do you usually just stick with one or you try different ones?
Well, I think we get better at making thumbnails every year. So it's more, when I upload a thumbnail, I usually think it's good and I don't change it most of the time. But what happens is like 3 years later, I look back and I'm like, oh, that's a horrible thumbnail. And so it's usually like every 2 years, we just go back and update a lot of our older thumbnails just because they're terrible. Just with like the new knowledge we have and what we've learned. And funny enough, that actually usually does help quite a bit when we update the thumbnails on old videos. They usually do see a little bit of an uptick because they're just, you know, if we take an old thumbnail where it's like seeing if whatever, like 100,000 magnets can stop a car, and it just looks terrible. And then with the new stuff, I know we zoom in a little bit so it's a little more visible and make things look better. Then magically it starts doing a little bit better because now people actually understand what it is because I'm not as much of an idiot anymore.
In 10 years, YouTube's going to be bigger than television ever was for culture, in America at least, in my opinion. And so I think a lot of people underestimate that, and I don't think people really understand just how, like, to be one of the top creators on the biggest social media platform, and that will also be the biggest in 10 years during that whole time, like the amount of value and how crazy that is. Like, you don't need a network, you don't need you know, to go through people. You just are. You can do whatever you want, and you can influence people how you want. It's just wild. It's mind-blowing, and you can leverage that to build businesses or, you know, like do things like Beast Philanthropy or whatever. I think like people don't realize just how much influence the top YouTube channels have.
No one's ever gonna do what I do better than me. Like, it's just not. It's not even humanly possible. Like, I reinvest every penny I make.
Yeah.
I work every hour I'm awake. I devote every atom in my brain to solving this. I hire the best people on the planet. I've been doing this for 14 years. And I think in decades, not years. So I'm going to be doing this for another 20, 30 years, not 2 or 3. So no, the next me isn't going to be me because no one's going to do what I do better than me. It's not possible. If I thought someone was doing better than me, I'd just start sleeping less so I could work even more. Like, I'd figure it out. I don't give
The barrier to entry to be you is extremely high.
Yeah.
Right? Especially where you're
well,
at
it's just because I'm all in. I'm crazy. Like, people shouldn't be me. I don't have a life. I don't have work-life balance. My personality, my soul, my being is making the best videos possible, entertaining my fans as best as I can. Like, that is what exists on this planet. And I don't recommend it. You know what I mean? Like, you should have work-life balance. You should not devote your entire life to